This next question is from Kerry, and it's actually a little bit a hard one to ask, because asking kind of what time period people tend to improve. Now, I appreciate that's a hard question because it depends on the condition. But if we were to say, if you had a general period of time in your head that if I'm a new patient and I say, how long is it going to take?
Yeah.
Do you give them a general idea? It's 4 to 6 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks, 6 months, a year? What would you?
Depends on their motivation. It depends on their commitment. And it also depends on how well they cope with the first couple of sessions I do with them. I sometimes can't give them an actual, well, in 4 weeks you'll be able to do this, in 6 weeks you'll be able to do this. I kind of take that pressure off them, because some of them will take that goal and say, well, I should have been able to do this by 6 weeks, why can't I do it? I let them go with the flow, but still push them. But then I will remind them, well, it's post 6 weeks, look at what you can manage, now look at what you can manage. So it depends on the personality. Some will need that goal and they're quite happy to go with that goal, and that is their motivation. But I have to be careful not to give them a time scale like that, because if they don't reach it in that time scale, it can dishearten them quite a bit.
I've spent some time with MS nurses, and they were telling me that there seems to be a kind of personality type in MS that you get people who are high achievers. So they were a woman was a full-time lawyer, working crazy hours and running marathons at the weekend, and she has 3 kids, and was really proud about the fact she's doing all these things, and then develop MS, go through all the hell. But then when they're trying to do their rehab, they're trying to hit it with the same approach that they would. But obviously their fatigue and things, you can't just say, look, I know it's going to be 6 weeks, because that's how it used to be. It's now, we've got to take that fatigue into account.
Absolutely. And I find those are the types of personalities that it takes me having to really talk to them and say, that is what it's really hard actually, because what they were before the diagnosis to what they are, they really can't get their head round, as in, this is my new baseline. And so half the battle is getting them to understand where they are now. It is okay where they are now, and what can we do realistically with what they've got now, as opposed to what they could do before. I've had a lot of the high achievers have often said to me, and I really don't, when they say comments like, oh, I could have done this before, or if you've come to me 5 years ago, I could have done this, and this. I'm like, yeah, but you're not there now. We're here with what we've got now. Yeah, and the frustration is so huge. Taking them through a sit to stand, and they're just frustrated with that process, because they're used to being able to do a sit to stand with 200 kilos on their shoulders. What I find is people that are surrounding them, could be families, it could be friends, it could be work colleagues, who can't understand why they can't just stand up. And they will make flippant comments like, well, you just have to stand up, why can't you do it? It can't, and then that frustrates them even more. So you have to be careful when it comes to goals like that. Tend to let it go a little bit more natural in terms of fluidity, rather than letting them say in 6 weeks you should be here, because it doesn't quite happen.